Hi everybody. God put it on my heart to come here and share with you my personal encounter with Jesus. And this happened actually while I was in jail many years ago, waiting to go to an alternative prison, which would be my first time going to a prison. Including that one, I've been to prison 3 times, 2 regular prison, 1 this alternative prison. Anyways, little story. Got to go back just a tad bit and tell my story a little bit. This is just part of my testimony, little part of it. God's done so much in my life that it would take hours. So we're going to do it in sections. And this one is going to be about the lowest part of my life. And I was sitting in a jail cell, 18, almost 19 years old. And I was thinking about how much of a failure I was. I had grown up in Chicago, and at the age of 11 got involved in all the bad things you can get involved in Chicago as a kid. And I got involved in drugs and alcohol and gang-related activity, criminal activity. And thinking about this now, having kids way older than 11, I cannot imagine. I was such a baby. But I had tried to fill that hole with everything that I could that was negative, and nothing was working. And I was just making my life more of a mess. And every time I would try to, turn away from all my sin, it just drug me back so much harder. Like that verse says, you expel one demon and it comes back with 7 more. Yeah, that definitely happened to me. And I was sitting there defeated, feeling like I couldn't do anything right, knowing that all the choices I was making was hurting myself, my child at the time, my parents, my loved ones, and I needed a different way. I needed healing. I needed to, become a better person, a different person. I didn't like who I was, and I was bawling and crying and wanted to be better but didn't know how to. And God came to me. This peace just flowed over me like I can't even describe it. In my despair, I felt peace. And God showed me that He loved me right where I was, no matter how much I had messed up in the past, that He had a better plan for me. I'm gonna cry. But when He came to me, there was no denying that I was His and He is mine. And when I gave up my life over to God, it wasn't perfect. You hear a lot of stories that, they give their life to God and they have a spiritual awakening and then everything is better. And that was not my story, is not my story, and still is not my story. But no matter how hard life is, no matter my struggles, just like in that desperation and that lowest point in my life, God always meets me with that peace. And knowing Him is the greatest gift I could have ever gotten. So if you're feeling desperate and you're feeling like nothing in life is working out, none of the decisions you're making are what you thought that they were going to plan out to be, just really open up your heart. Tell God, tell Jesus that you can't do this anymore by yourself, and He will come into you, give you that peace, and guide you. I hope that this brings you comfort, makes you think, and ultimately brings you closer to God.